Okay, guys and gals, about 10 seconds of the obligatory disclaimer. If you want to read the whole thing, just pause the video. Alright, pre-members, we are going to do shotgun style through all of the futures products. So I'll put timestamps in the description below this video. So if you want to jump to gold, just go down there, find gold, click the link, it'll take you right to gold. Same thing for natural gas, the grains, whatever you want. Just look at the links below this, in the description below this video, and you can go right to whatever product you want to get a review on, okay? And or forecast. I'm going to try to keep these videos short, unless I think there's something like a trade alert, then I'll elaborate a little bit. Okay, crude oil. CL. Don't forget, for new and old members alike, you can trade the E-micro crude oil, MCL. Okay? January 2022 contract today ended at 66.22. Look at this daily chart. Oh my goodness, craziness. Balbayamsky. Wow. And look at this. Like I said in the S&P 500, for crude oil, it may not be over yet. Though that looks kind of bottomish right there yesterday. Okay? But we don't really have confirmation yet that this thing's turning and burning. Right? We don't have that going on yet. Man, this 50-day is way up here, guys. 78.52. Crash. Oh, crash-o. You know, maybe not crash in a historical sense of crash, but definitely big price decline, right? Let's jump right into the hourly. Let's get to the sauce, baby. Let's talk about it. Last night, opened up right there, a little above the 50 hour. Start tracking above it, really nice, right? But with so much downward pressure going on, remember, we always want to keep track of multiple time frames, right? So if you're going to look at the hourly, and this may be redundant for some people, but we're gonna do this because I know a lot of new members. Okay, what is the hourly showing us? Well, it's showing us this, right? It's just down. So we generally speaking, we're not going to trade up. Okay, so we know on the daily it's down, right? Now, we'll look at the monthly and weekly too, but the bare minimum, you look at the daily and you know it's going down, okay? But you want to look at the monthly and weekly as well. But okay, keep that in mind. The daily is down. Now we go to the hourly chart. What do we got? We got last night, for the most part, traded up. Well, you know what? Don't trade that. You're not going to trade long when the market's, all this is going on. Don't do that. Okay? For 90% of traders, don't trade against the longer time frame trends. Don't do that. Okay? You could trade that candlestick. It's a little aggressive above the 50. It's better to trade it below, but at least you could trade it because you know you're going to be trading with the daily. Okay? So look at all this money you could have made. Call the profit from 9 o'clock this morning. Okay? And you wouldn't just be looking at the second candlestick to determine whether you should trade short. You'd be looking at things like the MACD that looks very peaky at that time, right? Where was it? See how that one's peaky and the MACD looks like it's pinched? What am I talking about? I'm talking about down here. Just keep your eye on this circle right here. Okay, keep your eye on that. See that? You can see the MACD getting kind of pinched. And on this one, it get really pinched, almost crossing over. Okay, you could trade it halfway down. If you want to be even more patient, okay, trade that one. But you can see that this indicator by then was beginning to separate. Okay, so you could trade that candlestick. That one right there. Okay, right where this arrow is. You could trade this one right here. Because everything is telling you it's okay to trade it. Right? The SMI is beginning to roll over. The MACDs is just, pinched down. There's a lot of confidence. You know the daily's pointing down. Trade it. You got 3, 4, 5 hours of just monster mashing it. You didn't have to do anything. You just sit there and watch it do it. Sure, there's going to be up and down, and but you're not going to get shaked out. Okay? You're just going to be patient. All right? $68 all the way down to 66. Okay? Huge. That's huge. Whether you're trading the futures, whether you're trading options against the futures, okay? Whatever you're trading there, that's 6 hours of just pure profit. Look at the 5 minute. Okay. Now, we don't always have these kind of days, but can it get any more beautiful than this? I mean, seriously. I know there was one or two people that asked me about, some things about trading the hourly time frame. Okay, you can definitely look at the hour like we just did, but also look at the 5 minute. Now, you may not always get it this easy, but this was a no-brainer. Okay, no-brainer. At 9:40, right, let me clear the screen. At 9:40, you got this red candlestick right there. Okay, you start trading that. You trade it all the way down. When this one starts to come back up, okay, just stop loss out. Just wait. That one, meh, it's pretty close. It finished way down here. That's nice. Remember, this is just a 5 minute chart. Just be patient. The next candlestick, trade it. You get this one and that one. Obviously, you're gonna have to trade enough contracts or options contracts to cover your commission and make it worth your while to pick up some money. But get your spreadsheet out, figure it out, okay? Then this, don't touch it. It's green. But just remember, the MACD is your friend here, man. It's telling you everything you need to know. On this 5 minute chart, you can really pay attention to the MACD. It's okay to pay attention to the SMI too if you want to, but the MACD is really going to keep you in the trade, okay? It's going to help you from jumping in and out of positions too much. Okay, and then that one was a no-brainer because it's starting to pull away from the 50. There's a big gap going on here now. A lot more confidence that things are going down, right? The MACD's telling you it's going down. A third of the way down, you jump back in, and you're just staying in it, man. You're staying in that trade. Okay, you might have to cut out on this, re-enter on that. And you just repeat that process, guys, over and over throughout the whole day. Pause the video because I'm going to move on. The monthly and weekly. Pause the video here. And when you're done looking at it, what I want you to look at is, imagine you just traded every second candlestick and only got out when you ran into a green one or when it pulled back up. Just count them all. And then look at the range. You can bring up your own charts from your own platforms. Look at the range for that hour and just calculate what would you have made. Get out your spreadsheets, do the homework. If you just traded all these red candlesticks or every second red candlestick, oh my gosh, you would have made a ton of money today. Okay, let's move on to the monthly. Okay, this is looking like it wants to roll over. Okay, we're kind of approaching the 50 month, 57, so you could get some price stall and it could bounce. We'll see what happens. We don't want to get ahead of this thing and start making a bunch of conclusions about what's going to happen on the monthly chart, right? We're going to let it tell us. Right now it's telling us that so far for December, because it's just the beginning of December, things are a small candlestick, but it is red. Okay, it still looks like the fast indicators, especially the SMI and the Big Daddy here, are pointing down. There's still divergent signals going on. And the MACD, the granddaddy of all indicators, looks like it wants to pinch. Now, this is monthly chart, so it could flatten out for a while or come down, whatever. We'll see what it does. Okay, but looking a little bit, more than a little bit weak, yeah? Weekly chart. Oh, look at that. Now, these other indicators look a little bit bottomish, so we'll see if we get a bounce. But it's at least the lower wick is broken through the 50-week moving average, and the MACD is starting to spread its wings a little bit right there. Okay, so we'll see. On the weekly, you really want to pay attention to this. Do we get a nice full candlestick below it? That'll be huge. Do we get one of these guys back over here? Right? Do we get that big full candlestick below it? Or even that one where most of it's below it? That one right there? Okay. Looking for that. For right now, you got to be a little careful because, it's still kind of riding the 50, right? Right. So just my quick thoughts on the hourly. I'd wait for rejection if you get it to see if it rejects and pushes down. Okay. It looks like it wants to, guys. Looks like the hourly is topped, and it looks like it's not done to me. There could be a little bounce here, but the MACD and the hourly. Think of it this way, guys. Look at the MACD and the hourly here. It came over, it crossed down, it gave us a little bounce back up to the 50, okay? Right, and then boom. Right? Now this one's much more shallow, so it could bounce above it and take off a little bit, okay? So you want to pay attention to that. You can look at the 5-minute chart to help you out on that, okay? All right. Okay, let's move on to the next product. We're going to look at gold. Okay, let's go to the daily. Remember, for gold, you can also trade MCL, the E-micro. I'm sorry, MGC. Sorry, I got crude oil in my MGC for E-micro gold. Really nice product. Okay, what's happened here on the daily? Well, kind of a strong day, right? But mixed. The last 3 days have been mixed. Looks a little bottomish, like it's trying to come up. MACD still pointing down. Okay. So same thing applies, guys. All the charts, it's the same stuff, guys, over and over. Okay. You're just looking to see if this gets rejected. Does it trade along the 50? Which will be a little bit tricky. If you get choppy and it's trading along and just trading, that's a little bit tricky. Maybe you look for other products, but if you don't get it, then you're going to look at the shorter term time frames, right? The hourly to make your trades. Okay. For now on the daily, it still looks weak, but the short term indicators are suggesting that it's going to come back up to this 50 and maybe get above it. All right. So you got to evaluate that on a day by day basis. Okay. Let's look at this cycle. Okay. This cycle is 12:15-ish. Remember, options expire on 12:17. We even have some, here not on gold, it doesn't show up, but on some of the futures products, we have it out like on Christmas Eve, okay? So somewhere between here and Christmas Eve, prices could decline. They could continue to decline. Okay, let's look at the hourly. Nice. Kind of a mixed day, right? It came up, it got rejected, came up, kind of got rejected. And then at 10 a.m., blast off. Okay, so you could trade that one even though it was red, and that one. You could trade those two candlesticks right there on the log side. If you were trading last night, that was a no-brainer. Rejected and traded for 4 hours down. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. MACD looks strong. These indicators on the hourly look like they're trying to pull back. But we're well above the 50 hour, so respect it. Let's see what it does. Does it come back down, find support? Does it come down and ride it? Does it come down and shoot through? All of that helps you decide which way you're going to go. Okay, 5-minute. Wow. Pretty cool. Let me back this out a little bit. Okay. Let me just go a little bit left, trying to get everything in from last night. There we go, that's better. So last night started right there. Man, the 5-minute chart, guys, on some products for over certain periods of time is so tradable. I mean, look at this. Bounce. Okay, not really a bounce, but technically it kind of was, but I wouldn't touch it if you're not comfortable. Just don't touch it. If it goes below, just wait. Bounce. Rides along it, not really very tradable right there. Just chill out, then you get the bounce, trade it. Second candlestick again. This one gets below, boom, that candlestick right there, you trade it. Short side, oh my gosh, what a beautiful thing. What a beautiful thing. Here, I just wouldn't trade it. I know other people probably say they would, and the MACD does help you out by about 4 a.m. So maybe right around there you could trade it, like 4 a.m. you start getting some confidence, okay? But to be super safe, you could trade that second candlestick right there above the 50, and you got that entire green candlestick to make profit on. Okay, it comes back down, it gets rejected. You do the same thing. Second candlestick, you trade those two candlesticks you're in. Okay, that's all garbage. You're just not going to trade any of that. Don't trade that garbage. And then this whipsaw stuff, forget it, guys. Just, who wants to trade that nonsense? Just leave it alone. You don't know when not to trade. Don't trade that junk. Okay. And then this one at 10:05. Okay, by the time it got up about halfway or a third of the way, you should have jumped in for sure. You didn't have to wait for a second candlestick on that one, because that third of the way up, halfway up, gets 5 minutes. This is moving very rapidly, right? So you really gotta be on your toes for that. But that's okay. Even if you didn't get it, you can definitely get this one right here, and just not trade this sideways consolidation garbage. Okay. Then you got some stair stepping going on here, which turn out to be really nice. All right, ignore these cycles, guys. They're daily. They're just sitting here on the 5-minute. Okay, real quick, monthly, weekly, move on. Let's zoom in here just a little bit. Okay, gold still looks weak here, guys, on the monthly. It just looks weak, okay? Everything continues to look weak on monthly. There's nothing much more to say about that. It looks weak, and I still see this triangle thing going on. And that usually means bing, 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 bam. Okay, so monthly looks weak. Hasn't changed. Weekly looks weak. If next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, if it continues from there and starts going more red, oh, that's a great signal. And then on the hourly and 5-minute, or even on the daily possibly, okay, you can trade short side because it'll this weekly's telling you it's okay, trade short. Okay? All right, that's it for gold. Let's move on to natural gas. In natural gas, you can also trade the E-mini natural gas, QG. Okay, and or it's option. I think all these products are optionable. I may be wrong, but I think most of them are. Okay, let's start with the daily. Oh my goodness! But today was red, but that's looking like gravestone. Yeah, gravestone doji. I believe that's what that's called. Okay, it's a gravestone doji. It's a very bottoming looking kind of doji. That's the first thing that stands out. If you don't know your candlesticks, you need to go study them. I believe that's called a gravestone doji, okay? So that could be a bottom on the daily for natural gas. It's very possible. We haven't really turned and burned here yet, so I wouldn't, for those that want to trade long, don't do it yet. All of this is still pointing down. Everything here is still pointing down. Don't get ahead of it. Just relax. Take a couple deep breaths. Okay? We haven't got the bounce yet. But this is not officially a gravestone doji until the next candlestick confirms that it is. It would have to basically be a candlestick that's above this one, particularly the body. Right? It's got to be going that way. Then you get your gravestone. Okay? For now, it looks like one, but it has to be confirmed. And even then, you still want to wait for this stuff to turn and go up. I wouldn't trade it long. Just relax. Okay, hourly. Wow. Kind of tough to trade that today. Just the way it... Okay, here's the thing. Here's my take on this. Really not very tradable overnight. Once it got to this candlestick, and if you really must trade natural gas and you had to trade it today, this is what I would have done. I didn't trade it, but if I felt like I needed to trade it for some crazy reason, then I would be okay trading it short because I know that my 50 hours moving down and I see that it's tracking along to 50. Okay, it's going to take some stomach. You got to have a good stomach for this if you're going to trade like that. But you just enter right there, and then you're going to have to wait to make up that money. Like by the time you get to this one, like 3 or 4 hours later. Okay. So on the average, you're making money there, but that's a hard way to trade. I don't give recommendations because I'm just giving my opinion here, as you can tell from the disclaimers, but, just not tradable. Just not, that candlestick there is doable. We'll switch to the 5 because the 5-minute probably would give us a little bit better idea of how to trade today if you really had to trade it. See, now this is more tradable. That hourly chart, not so much. That's why, guys and gals, I always advocate multiple time frames. You got to look at them. Okay, you got to look at the multiple time frames. Because one chart's going to say, I can't trade that. But this chart's tradable. We know that natural gas on the daily chart is pointing down, right? So we wouldn't trade that bounce. We wouldn't trade this. This is nonsense. We don't trade it. If you feel aggressive, you could trade it up here to there. But wait till it's below the 50. Remember, 5-minute chart we're talking about here. Okay? So you could trade, see that candlestick right there, the way it finished? You could probably trade it and to get this one candlestick. You probably have to stop out on that. Probably fool you. You could trade that one and that one. Probably just be small profit because you'd be getting stopped out. Okay, a lot of this is really difficult to trade this. Okay, you'd make small profits on in this time frame here. You just got to be patient and not let yourself get frustrated. You just be making small profits. Okay. And of course, your commission might be chewing up some of that, but you just be making small profits, waiting for the opportunity, and then sure enough, there it came, basically on that one, and then you were in. You know, the MACD here, you can just tell it's like dead, right? It's not really giving you much to go on. And this is all whipsaw junk. So even on the 5 minute, even though it's tradable here, it's not great. Okay, that was nice. Good rejection right there. Okay. And then, believe it or not, okay, not that candlestick, but that one right there, kind of near getting towards the end of the day, would be tradable. Because as soon as it got below this lower wick, you could trade that. Okay, but it's a little bit rough here near the end of the day there. So just even though the 5 minute chart's more tradable than any other chart, yeah, not a whole lot going on there. Kind of a tough product to trade today. Let's look at the monthly. Still telling us short side. Okay, lots of damage to the short side. Lots of opportunity if you're looking just at the weekly, but we know that daily could be possibly getting a rebound. Okay, look, going on to the weekly here. Approaching the 50 week. So we got from this perspective, you got to be a little careful. 3, 6, 7. Okay, and a lot of times you get these buffers. You know, it won't come all the way down and touch it. So, you know, 375, 380 if you want to be super safe. If you were trading just based on this. Guys, look at this right here. This MACD on the weekly really wants to roll over. I'm telling you, man. Natural gas looks weak on the monthly and the weekly chart. So those shorter time frames are going to have to buck up and show us something, because otherwise this still looks weak. Okay? As I said before, beware of January, February. You know, December, January, February you could get price increase because of the cold weather, but we haven't seen it yet. Okay, that's it for natural gas. Let's move on to wheat. Okay, let me go over to the daily. Nice bounce we had yesterday, and then today gave it all back, but gave a lot of it back. Looks like it just wants to continue. Just be very aware that on the daily chart, wheat is still well above the zero line on the MACD, and that, as we've been saying, evergreen freighter could drive through that thing. Okay, so but be aware of this rising 50. You notice how that came down? Kind of, there's this buffer going on in there, and then even though this was a red day. Today, prices are kind of moving that way. Yeah, it's following the 50 moving average, right? So don't get tricked out. Don't get fooled by, oh, it's going to go down. It's going to go down. Yeah, it's going down. But remember, it's going down against the 50, and it's finding support on the 50. Right? It's found support on the 50. It may not be beautiful, but wheat has found support here. Okay, that's called support. It's an ugly looking support for the last 3 days, but it's still support. But overall, that MACD looks like it's telling us a story. So far it's found support. It looks ugly, but there it is. Let's look at the hourly. Today, the day started right there last night. Not much going on to trade there last night, but that was tradable. Huge. Huge. And here's the beauty of it. Last night, like, you know, looks like it was midnight. Yeah, about by the time you got to like 1 or 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and even if you woke up in the morning, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and you saw this green candlestick, whoopie friggin' do. Look at the MACD. It rolled over in the middle of the night. Can't be ignored. And look how the MACD took over and dominated those other short-term indicators. Happens a lot of time, guys. Not always, but a lot. That was a very tradable hour. My goodness. Monster mash. 14.75 range. Huge. A lot of money was made on that candlestick. And that's the candlestick you want to trade, because wheat is going down on the monthly and the weekly and all the other good stuff. And even though the daily has some support, it still looks nasty. Okay, it still looks kind of down. I shouldn't say nasty, but it looks like opportunities to the downside. So that's the candlestick you make the trade on, because the longer time frames tell you to do that. And this MACD tells you to do it. Even though it's a little bit wonky, it was enough to tell you to trade it, okay? Not going to look at the 5 minute. Okay, we'll look at the 5 minute, because it's usually sparsely traded. Yeah, it's not so bad. It's not too bad. Yeah, there it was, guys, right? There's the candlestick to trade right there. What time was that? 10:10. That's the candlestick to trade. And why not? It's pulled away from the 50 on the 5 minute chart. It's pulled away from the 50, and you just trade it. What's the range? 5 1/4. Very nice. And you trade that one too. And then when this one kind of got weird like that, and and you got a really small body, man, don't worry about it. Just stop loss out, take a little break. You can see that these short-term indicators are kind of telling you, okay, something's happening, and then you re-enter on that one. Okay? And then, you might have to do some risk management in here because it's sprinkling in some stuff. Okay, by the time you got to this candlestick and this candlestick, you knew that short side trading was over for the day. Take a break. Go trade some other product. Stop trading for the day. You don't have to trade all the time. All this was money. Okay? All right, let's move on to the other. Oh, last mention, you can also trade XW. Very affordable, very nice product. Whenever I trade wheat, I trade that one. Okay, let's go look at, let's see, we did natural gas. What am I missing? Oh, oats. Let's look at oats. Obviously, you can't trade oats on the 5-minute chart. Too sparsely traded. It's too thinly traded. It's barely tradable on the hourly. Okay, here we are on oats. I had a small position, one contract that I took and just kind of holding on and hoping I got this thing timed right. But yeah, it was a really nice day. Over $1,000 day. Yeah, so today was really nice. Okay, and I think I might even, we'll see. This just looks like there's more to come. This is such an aggressive 50 that's, you got to really be cautious here. Okay. This is more an investor, maybe really long swing trade type of product. Okay. So I'm not going to get into any try to trade alerts or anything. If you want to trade oats, all I got to say is you better be ready to stomach some serious price movements. And I mean, it moves like thousands of dollars in either direction just on one contract. $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 can happen just like that in one day. Okay, so if you can't handle those kind of swings, then don't mess with it. Okay, but we're going to talk about it anyway, because as I've mentioned before, I believe this oats is a trade of a lifetime for some people who can time it right and stomach it right and have big enough accounts or whatever. Okay. Today was a nice day. Looks like it's found support on this 50, this very aggressive rising 50, but this still looks like it's looming large to me, and it's above the zero line. Okay? So now we got to see, does it break through the 50 day or not? Or does it bounce and take off? And it very well could bounce, because December, January, February, a lot of times the oats will go up, and then later, kind of second quarter of 2022 or even late first quarter, then you might see prices decline dramatically. But right now, we're going to be watching that very closely on that 50. Let's look at the monthly. Okay. So clearly got a green candlestick. There are divergence warnings going on here, but that's not enough to take a short position. Right? It's not enough. At the end of December, if this is red, okay, we'll talk. Right now, a lot of risk. This is telling us sky's the limit. Only the Big Daddy's shown us divergence, and man, oh man, as I said before, it hasn't shown that in years. Years. Now y'all know why I talk about oats so often. Okay, monthly says don't touch me on the short side, but I wouldn't trade it long right now either. I just wouldn't trade it at all for most people. Okay, here's why I got one contract, guys. 2 weeks down, okay? Lots of divergence signals going on. It's clear there's a divergence going on. The prices are going that way on the average, and this is going down, and this is going down, and this is trying to roll over, but it hasn't done it yet. Okay? So, admittedly, taking any contracts right now feels early. Okay? So, there you go. That's my honest take on it. So, why am I trading one contract? Because I'm a damn trader, son. And $1,100 a day was nice. Okay. Let's take a look at the hourly, which would be the last of the Mohicans. Yeah, you really can't trade this hourly. See all this thinly traded. Again, oats is thinly traded product. Really gonna have a stomach for big movements. Okay, just look at this one hour was like 12, a range of 12. Okay. At one point today, it was like, I don't remember what it was. Whatever. It was down a lot, like over $1,000. Like I'm down $1,000. Negative. Down a negative. And then, I'm up 1,100. Whatever. It was something like that, okay, because I was busy doing some other stuff, and you know. So there you go. Okay. All right, guys and gals, that's it. I believe for all the futures product, I think I covered everything. Okay. Go back, review whatever you want. Don't forget, in the description below this video will be links for each product, which has a timestamp built into the link. So you just click on whatever product you want to watch, and there you go. All right. Hope everybody had a profitable week. I know a lot of members, premium members, had serious profit this week, man. Kudos to you guys. For those new members that are struggling, okay, watch the videos. You can present questions to me directly in the Discord server. The link is in this description below this video. Okay, use it. And everybody have a great week, and we'll talk to y'all real soon again next time.